And we're live.
Hello, everyone. This is Scratch and Jack, your host for the Amazing Scale Modelers Sunday Hangout. Amazing Scale Modelers is a Google Plus and Facebook community of scale modelers, reaching across all scale modeling genres and mediums, and to encourage friendships from around the world. And today we hope you will find it to be an important source of information about the hobby, hear about something new, and see firsthand the scale modeling experience. Today, joining me are the usual suspects in doing these things. And if you want to join us, you can even join us live chat. If you are a little shy or without a camera and mic, you can always go onto our live chat. So if you're watching this, obviously, you know where that is. So all are welcome today. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment and suggest on our channel. And today we have a hand select of the people are going to help me kill time. And let's start with my Google left to right, and that's starting with Heath. I haven't seen you in a while, Heath, but of course, with the time change, across the pond is a little late for you, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. Normally, if we're not on daylight saving, it starts at about 10:30 or 9:30, and then I come in then. But when it's like daylight saving, it doesn't start here until like about 11:30. So I'm probably getting ready for bed about then. So yes, I'm here to grace you with my presence today.
Excellent, excellent. So what's been going on your neck? I can't even say your neck of the woods. You're not even in the woods. You're on the other side of the planet.
Well, yes, it's a lovely day out there today for a Monday morning. And yes, I do not still not have the lottery numbers for those people watching. Sorry.
Yeah, how does the future look?
Well, the future looks for you over there. Well, it's nice and sunny over here. But over there in Canada and in America, it looks like it's a bit snowy.
A bit cold, more like it. But in some parts it's snowy. Yeah.
This is why you guys need to come down under. Because you love your heat. You love your stuff. Come down here. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have your tourist dollars too.
Oh, boy, that was a plug for the tourist arm of the government.
Yeah. Come down to Adelaide. Come down to Adelaide. It's a beautiful little town. You'll love it.
Excellent. So what have you been doing in the modeling sense, really?
The modeling scene? Well, let's see. I've received some models. Also, I mean, the presence of buying models, but the one model that really got me, it's got my attention right now, there's 3 of them. Yesterday I did some work on my Lotus 99T, which is the big Formula 1 car. I managed to put the front downforce on that. I'm also building I've put all the parts together to my Boeing 737 from Airfix. Mm-hmm. And then I find out I'm gonna have to do another paint job because the white that I was gonna use, it's lost its hue. It's gone all green instead of white. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna have to buy some more white paint, and then I'm gonna have to spray paint it. It's only a matte white, so stuff off, you stupid notification.
What scheme is it going to be in?
It's a matte white scheme. It's a matte white scheme. The reason why I'm building the 737 is because it's got one of our very old airlines that we used to have down here. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but maybe not. It's got, we used to have Ansett down here.
Oh yeah.
And yes, Ansett was bought by Bob Ansett, who is the namesake of the airline. Unfortunately, back in 2001, Ansett went the way of the dodo, which gave way to Qantas. But actually, no, that's wrong. Qantas there was Australian Airlines, and then Qantas came in. So now we've only got one major airline, and that's Qantas. But then, of course, you got Virgin and Jetstar and Tiger. So, yeah. But besides that, for the nautical build, that I heard on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I will be building the one ocean liner I have been wanting to build all time, the Titanic. I'm a member. I was a member of the Sci-Fi Fantasy group, which is run by Kenny Conklin. Morning, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
And I was part of the Secret Santa that they did there, and I got David Lazenby sent me the Titanic complete with photo etch and wooden decking. So I'll be building so we were talking about this yesterday with Randall and James, and I'm thinking, geez, if it's wood, I can do 2 group builds in one stone, wooden decking.
Yep.
Working with wood. So, but the thing is, I'm a little bit hesitant because I've never worked with photo etch before, but thanks to the 2 gentlemen here, I'm still scared.
Don't worry about it, Heath. I've been working with it stuff for years, and I'm still scared.
Oh yeah, but then we were also talking to Keith yesterday, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We talked to Keith yesterday. He's been a busy boy. But no, besides all that, Jack, I've just been enjoying the new year and had a very busy Christmas. And then I'm going to go back to doing what I do, looking for a job tomorrow. So that's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's always fun to be looking for work.
It's just so I thought I'd spend my last day of freedom. But that's all for me, and I've missed you all, and some people I have missed, and some people I haven't missed. And I'm not going to talk about the people who I don't miss, but.
Well, I'm sorry, Heath. I'll try to impress you more the other way.
What?
You haven't missed me, have you?
I'm sorry, I'm still half asleep.
You haven't missed me. You haven't missed me, have you?
Oh, hey, hang on a minute, Jack. Jeez. Well, the one person I have missed is my brother from another mother, Jay. I haven't spoken to Jay in a long time.
Well, he's as dependable as the weather is, you know.
Yeah, that's Jay.
He's probably last. Well, I heard a peep from him when we were going to do the Last Jedi video, and he says, "Well, I haven't seen it yet, so I won't show up." Okay, he hasn't seen it. Stuff.
Actually, there's been a lot of response to that video, by the way.
Yeah,
you got
I think we're over 100 now. Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't really even checked.
A lot of people. Well, let's put it this way: a lot of people agree with all of us that there is problems with it, and then there's not problems with it. So, but
you know. This is a sidetrack, has nothing to do with modeling, but I just want to put this out there. I did see a video. It's like a CB Henry or something. I have to look up his website. He does a lot of Star Trek stuff too, and he does these inspired starship designs and everything, and he makes these videos explaining why he does the things that he does when he designs a starship. It's actually pretty geeky and interesting if you're into that stuff. But he gave an interesting critique of my Mary Poppins scene. He went on the realm of saying, yeah, it could have been photographed differently. But he spoke more about the science of sudden decompression. And I don't know, he didn't cite any studies, but he did mention that a lot of this stuff was studied on, like dogs and chimps and stuff like by NASA and other space agencies. And and he claims that none of the animals actually perished in the tests, but they did lose consciousness in the first 2 minutes, within the first 2 minutes of sudden decompression. But they all survived and they all recovered normally. So there you go. Leia, other than looking like Mary Poppins, which I couldn't survive, at least she did. You know, that's
on to the more important business of modeling.
back to modeling. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only critique negative thing I had to say about the movie for the most part. But that's me, and I explained why. I try to use as much evidence as I could. But hey, that's on our channel. If you're all watching or even interested,
Take a look at it.
yeah, it's on the Amazing Scale of Modeling channel. In fact, also I wanted to mention too that there's a yearbook, quote unquote, from about August until the end of the year of people's builds in the group builds I had, the 4 that we had last year. And that would be the Batman build, the Stunt and Speed, the Street Muscle and Custom Car build, as well as a Star Wars build.
Oh, yeah.
It's about almost 16 minutes slideshow. A lot of interesting builds in that series, and I'm going to make it I even included the community covers too, but I'm going to make it a yearly
I thought
thing.
that was a nice touch. I thought that was a nice touch.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'll do it a yearly thing, and I'll pay closer attention to saving, at least having a file and saving all this stuff. And
I must admit, it was nice to see my Batmobile.
yeah, your Batmobile was actually a pretty good mix, because you even had a picture that was work in progress too. There was a couple of builds that had work in progress builds.
Oh.
So that's what was interesting about that video.
You know what? That Batman group build last year, I thought that was a great group build, because I saw some models there that weren't even exclusively Batman. I mean, the one with the 1980s Batmobile towing the Batboat, that trailer, that was completely scratch built. And I couldn't believe that. I mean, I thought that was really... I thought that was a really good build, to scratch build a trailer and then put the Batboat on the trailer. And I thought that was a great. Of course, you had several Batwings, but when you saw the Batwings, it was a different aspect of it. Like, one was lighted, one was not lighted, and it was like one was different, like a green on the interior, like used a green fiber optic. But I must admit that Batmobile I made, that was probably one of my best builds for last year. Because I mean, I had very little issue with it, very little fit issue with it, and it was probably one of my best builds next to the General. But the thing is, of course, I was warned off about the General, because the thing was, when you made yours, that what I did was I took off the main roll cage and just put the single one coming from the back. Yeah. And I'm thinking, oh, that should fix it. But no, what's the problem? I had another look at it. And the issue with the front of it, it looks like that the right side of the engine bay is bigger than the rear arch, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And I've been working with that. I've been trying to fiddle with that, like, all through near the end of last year and near the beginning of this year. And just won't sit straight. But that's. But as I said, that Batmobile was probably one of my best builds. I wish that Jordan had turned out, though. Right. I really did.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to that. It was, again, like I said, I'll pay attention. But you did post pictures of some of your Formula One cars you did last year. You're pretty good at Formula One cars as well. So don't beat yourself up too bad.
Information up the wazoo.
Would that be all there, Heath?
Yeah, that's it for me. And I mean, this year's just going to be the same as last year. Continuing building.
Continue building.
Keep building. And if I come up with a really, really nice build, I'll share it. Sometimes I'm very critical of myself and my builds.
Oh, we all are.
I mean, I look at all these other beautiful kits that everybody else has done. And I look at mine and I go, mine looks like shit. Pardon my French.
No, it's,
looks like chicken
like
to
I said,
everybody.
There's nothing nothing to poo-poo about your builds as far as Formula One cars are concerned.
Oh yeah, but the normal everyday cars are. I mean, I've got a.
No, you did a really
Look,
good job of the Night Rider last
Stop me
year.
off. Stop me off now, Jack. Move on.
Okay,
I'll take
very
it off damn stone. I don't want to do that.
All right, very good. I just also want to give a shout out to everybody on the live chat. J-Man, thanks for stopping by. Ken Skiffington, as well as Mark Dunmore. George, my friend George. George is here as well. And
Hi, George.
also Ken from Ken's Model Shop dropped by. I think the other Ken too. Ken Skiffington. I think he's here too. Yeah, he's there. Aries has showed up and just now, and John Pohl. I haven't seen John in a while, and James Kirk. They're all on the chat. Come on, guys, talk about something.
Maybe hi and disappear.
Okay.
George says hi. George says hi, Heath.
George is my fan. He tells me.
Well, yeah, George. It's sort of like everybody on my live chat is like my kids. And a parent should pick favorites, but favorite, and you know who I react to the most, to more animated anyway. So how you doing there, Jim?
I'm not doing too bad there, Jack. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet on the modeling front as a rule. I'm still working away at learning Arduino code and designing my program for my board so that I can rotate my model for the diorama properly.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, well, that's cool.
Yeah,
is that all?
because the first circuit was a bust. Not that it didn't work; it just didn't work the way I need it to work. That's all.
It's too like boing boing, and
Yeah.
you wanted to have it more of a gradual thing.
I need
going.
a gradual turn.
Yeah.
So that's the reasoning for going to the Arduino board.
Okay.
So that's about it as far as what I'm working on right now.
Mm-hmm.
As far as upcoming,
right.
you know, the only thing that's up next after I get this done will be probably start on my wood build, which is that Titanic lifeboat.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. All right. Moving forward, how you doing, Randall?
Not too bad, Jack. Haven't seen you all year.
Yeah, this is the first we're seeing each other this year.
Yeah.
This has been 7 days. Actually, no, I think we see each other New Year's.
I apologize I wasn't around for the across the pond yesterday. I was away gallivanting in Scotland, as you do. A day
That's
trip.
okay. We'll take after the show. We'll take you out to the back courtyard and whip you with a wet noodle. So.
Anyway, I have not done any modeling this year so far. Mind you, we're only on the seventh or eighth day of the year so far, so it's not too bad. God, I had a lot of stuff I wanted to say, and I can't remember what it was.
Weren't you going to show your Phantom kit, Randall?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. There was that. I was good to myself while I was in Scotland. I got this hot off the presses. It's
oh yeah, the Phantom FG1. Yeah.
Mm. Nice.
Yep. Very nice kit too. Lots of detail. It even includes the radar for under the nose cone. Stuff like that. I can do all sorts of stuff. Even have it sitting ready for a launch on a carrier deck. Actually, that would be a good
That'd be
one
nice,
for the nautical build.
Mm.
Build it as it, ready for launch on the steam catapult.
Yeah, if you build a partial deck to put it on, yeah.
Or maybe catching the wire or landing.
Yeah.
Perhaps, or something like that.
Wouldn't you have to put a steel pole underneath?
Maybe not. No, if I have it where the back wheels are just touching the deck, and the tail hook is catching the wire, I think that should give it plenty of support. The nose wheel, I can't remember if those particular Phantoms, if the nose wheel, which was extended for, to give it a higher angle of attack, if on launch, if you notice there,
yeah. Well, actually, if you've got the back wheels touching the deck, if you use solid wire for the hook wire, that could hold into the hook and hold the tail down.
Yep.
You know what, James? I was about to say that. If you use because those tension wires that they use on the deck are basically knotted up pieces of iron. The tensile strength. I mean, there are times when the catapult does break down, and when you're landing, you have to put the barrier up. So, that reminds me. Forgot to. Well, it's my turn. No.
I also have a couple of real space projects, which I don't know when you were thinking of starting the real space, or is this going to be like?
Oh, that's for the whole year. Yeah, for the whole year, whenever.
Well, that's cool because I've had this in the stash for a long time, and I'd love to have a crack at that.
A bullet.
Or one. Okay.
Yep.
Looks like a bullet.
It does rather. It's America's first artificial satellite.
I thought that was silver. It's black and white on the top. I remember Explorer Run. I remember doing a project on it back when I was in high school.
Yeah, it was America's first artificial satellite. It was launched using the same kind of booster as the later Mercury spacecraft.
Redstone, yeah.
Redstone, or Jupiter C, which was essentially the same thing. It's actually quite. The kit's by Glencoe, but the kit itself actually originates way years and years ago, probably in the early 60s, and it even comes with this like a crank mechanism.
Yeah.
Because the original satellite was spin stabilized.
Yeah.
So you put this crank mechanism in. You close it up and crank this to turn the
spin the satellite.
The whole thing sits on top of this here, and it just
so corny.
You know the way the early 60s, in the 50s and the 60s, the kids had to have some sort of working feature.
Yeah,
that was that for that.
Yeah, and that's the kind of technology that was inside the satellites too.
Pull the crank.
They had a chimpanzee.
You're not far wrong there, Jack. It's very smart. Let's see if I can get this to hold together. It's in several pieces here, so if you hear me shout, you'll know it's falling apart on me or something.
Just don't swear, okay? We've done enough of that.
Oh yeah, I'll try not to swear. No promises though.
Now, Mark is saying, the question is, what Randall does not have in the stash?
Ah! Oh, that's
It's,
nice.
It's 1/6 scale.
At 1/6. 1/6.
Yep.
Oh, it's only 6 feet tall then.
Mm-hmm. And also, the missile body hinges open to reveal the inner workings of it. Unfortunately, when I got this kit, I decided to cut everything off the sprue for some reason, so it's all
over the place
in the box loose, and also somewhere along the line I've lost the plan. So you have like it's really hard to show this. So it's all white plastic, and then
I can see it.
Okay.
And the color balance is going nuts trying to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a question about the real space build, Jack.
Yep.
Yes.
I wanted to do Skylab. Was there a model for that?
Yes.
No. No, really?
Yes, there was a Skylab model.
I think Rebel did it, didn't they?
I think it might have been a Minicraft kit.
Okay. Then I'm not familiar with Minicraft. That's why I said no.
I don't know if there were any models, as in regular plastic kits for Skylab as it was when it flew. But Airfix do Skylab Saturn V in its launch configuration.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah, there is a Skylab Saturn V. Yep, there is. Yeah, Revell makes that one.
Airfix actually, but
Airfix makes. I thought Revell makes one too.
Revell do 2 Saturn V's. One is the 144 scale kit that originally was the monogram kit.
Right.
And then they also do a 196 scale.
96.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just stick with the shuttle.
Well, it's okay. No, I mean, I'd like to do a Skylab build, but I don't know if that's even available. I'll have to look it up.
I know there's one of the ISS.
Well, here's an interesting thing about the builds coming up this year is that you can I kind of thought about it, and you can really do a mix and match of a lot of things. The nautical or navy build, the naval or nautical build, these real space, and the wood build. Anything you want, but as long as it's primarily made of wood.
Yeah.
And where did it go? Oh, this can probably double as both, but I'm not going to make it double as both. This is the USS Hornet. This kit has the Apollo 11 recovery.
Yes.
To this. This could make a diorama, so this could probably double as both. But that'd be kind of cheating. But still, I mean, you can make any of these things, do both. Like Jim is doing a wooden lifeboat for the Titanic, which is probably the rarest boat ever built. And it's supposed to be funny.
How would that be cheating, Jack?
I gotta have a laugh track because I thought my jokes are funny. I guess my jokes are only good for a laugh track. It's the Titanic lifeboat is the rarest boat ever built. There wouldn't have been so many people who died on it. But anyway, no. I mean, you can. My point is that you can maybe try to do that. I think that's.
But how would the Hornet be cheating?
The Hornet? You mean the F? What is it? The F-18?
No. The Apollo 11 recovery vessel, USS Hornet.
Well, it probably has a capsule, and it probably has a little helicopter that goes with it.
I don't see how that can be cheating.
I haven't opened it yet.
Titanic got wooden decks in it.
But I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I'm saying my Titanic's got wooden decks in it.
Okay. Is it wood? Like real wood?
Wood. It's
They
all
got
been.
trees in
All
Australia.
the pieces have been.
That's like
Etched
There's
out.
trees in
It's all
Australia?
etched out. Yeah. No, I'll go get it.
good. Of
Wow,
course, they have
he's
trees in Australia. They're called eucalyptus.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the wood decks would count as a wood build because it's only.
no, I don't think that should be counted as such. No, I'm saying the majority. The majority. I mean, that wood
Yeah,
deck.
that's just an applique. Yeah.
But
One.
G-Man, well, not G-Man. Who was it that said he's looking forward to? It was George looking forward to the Titanic build. But no, I don't think that's going to double as a wood build. I would say that Jim is right. That would be, you'd have to make it almost all in. The thing that I'm saying is that, like, if you're doing a sailing ship, like a schooner or something, it would be, majority of it would be wood, except for maybe the sails and the rigging. I mean, those things cannot. No. That would be the nautical build. Nautical build. That's so small. Look how small that is.
700 scale.
Maybe.
This model kit, it's got the photo etch. This is how. Well, let's put it this way. It's all coloured. Hi, Keith.
Hello. Yes, George. Heath has wood.
George, you're a naughty man. Get the mine out of
the gut. All right. While you're messing around with that, I'm going to say hello to a couple of other people here. I haven't seen Keith in forever. And, of course, he's about 1,000 miles from Heath right now, which is probably a good thing for Keith.
Nice.
Haven't seen this gentleman. He goes from Tasmania to Queensland, and look at the tan that he has. The tan that he's sporting, I should say.
Really? Have I got a tan, do I? I don't even know.
Well, right now we're kind of hating you right now, but that's okay.
There we
the
go.
Northern Hemisphere, that is. All right. Now let's pop back over to Heath there. Okay.
That's a 1/700 scale Titanic.
Yeah,
That would be an easy fit to write.
Yep.
Oh, like you said,
Very,
look.
very, very easy fit to write. Just,
Would be a nice thing to build.
just run a couple of strips of warm white out of the strip.
Yeah.
James
All right,
Carson.
Sorry.
HMS Victory. There you go. HMS Victory. That'd be a good build.
That, yeah. If you got a year and to give up for it, yeah. At least.
Well, sure. I'd like to do the HMS Enterprise just because it's the Enterprise. Who's watching the cricket? I don't know.
No, I'm not watching the cricket.
Okay, and he's still James Kirk is also still painting his Marquis Raider model. Okay, it's a Star Trek kit. Okay, let's see. Okay. Wild Keith appears. Yes, he says Keith told me yesterday he wants to like get an RV and travel Australia, and I says that's not a good idea because everything in Australia is poisonous.
Well, that's why you stay in the RV.
Yeah.
But he did tell me that there is such a thing as an Australian flu. That's something Liam brought up yesterday on Across the Pond.
Yeah, we got a fair amount of people that come to Australia from America and England and whatnot else. And if they get a cold, it knocks them on their bum for a couple of weeks. It's pretty intense. But,
Well, the British don't have the immunity. British don't have the immunity like they once had when they had their empires. And they were a lot better.
I think it's just coming to a different environment, different place, different bugs and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm sure if we went to England or whatever else, we'd probably suffer a pretty hideous cold. But don't go, it's nothing.
Called man flu.
Called the sniffles.
All right. How's it going, Jay?
It is going fantabulous. How are you doing?
Well, just having a good time, actually. I'm trying.
Sorry I'm late.
That's all right. What do you got going on over there?
Discovery.
I think he's making the Falcon.
Can you guess the... Oh, yes, the Discovery. You son of a gun, you. Look at that.
Discovery.
It's a big model. Here's the
ball.
The front, yeah, the ball. And
yeah.
Long and finished. Right now I'm building these.
Well, the cargo pod.
Little cargo pods. There
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
there are not 6 of this one. There are 9 of another one, 9 of 4C, 18 of 4D, and 18 of 4E. And that's not including what goes onto the antenna. And it's all these little dinky parts that are driving me bonkers.
Yes, Mark, it's like building a tank, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many pieces are
I'll
in
tell
here?
you what scale is that, bro?
44th. 1/144.
That's a 144?
Yeah.
What the heck?
1/144. Yeah.
It finishes what, about 40 inches long or something like that?
41. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's 41 inches long when it's finished. It comes with a where did I put it? Right here. It comes with a steel rod that fits together that goes through the center of it, plus three steel rods to hold up the center and the 2 end parts, so that you can display it without it
Sagging.
bending in half
Yeah.
and looking really ridiculous. I got one aftermarket kit for them to be resupplied. Paragraphics has made a cockpit interior and a shuttle bay, or space pod, whatever. But they're out of stock right now.
Nice one. Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it either until I saw it and saw it was out of stock. These are translucent engine pods, so you can light it, light the engine. And it also comes with a translucent space pod, because there is no space pod in the model. There's no interior in the model. You have to buy an aftermarket, but this comes with one space pod. And I know I'm not supposed to, but since I'm going to be building it with at least one of the doors open, I'm going to have to mold a couple more of these, so I'll have 3 space pods in. But they made this one transparent. They're translucent, so you can put side, and with careful painting, you can have it lit up. The headlights lit up and such, which is kind of cool. Oh, and for people who don't want to buy an interior, graphics that you can cut out and stick onto this piece of cardboard that can go inside, so that you can have, at least when you look in the windows or look in the door, you'll see something that looks like the inside.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool.
They could have just sold
Not a terrible idea. I am not going to do that, though. I'm going to get the other parts once they
available.
In theory, they could have just sold the cockpit parts and the space pod, so you could have had the open the pod bay doors, please, Hal.
Yeah, it. The shuttle bay. I keep calling it a shuttle bay. The space pod bay also comes with the interior of the airlock that was exploding.
Airlock.
And Hal refuses to open the airlock. So what
Is that the kit that came out last year, Jay?
It just came out. Yes, it came out. It came out like that. So it was. I got it. I got like the day after Christmas, mine showed up, and
I think they were released around the end of November or something like that. I think they were.
Yeah.
But it didn't actually get released. Well, let's put it this way: Cult TV Man didn't get any until before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's who I ordered it from. So I knew what to expect because of a number of people who got one that he could make masking templates for it, which looked pretty nice. So
And I think had pretty much the best price for that kit too. It was a $149.99.
About $150, and I've seen it on eBay for as much as $300. I have not yet seen
for the
anyone.
Discovery.
I've not yet seen anyone selling a built one yet.
The only thing stopping me from buying that kit is the price, especially after the port duty and everything else that'll be on it. I would have very little change out of £300 after all that.
Yeah, and that kind of bothers me too. But I have wanted a model of this Discovery since 1968.
Yep.
And a good one.
I can believe that.
So having
Can I just ask a question, guys? Is it me, or are prices of models going up through the roof again?
That's you.
That's you.
It's hard to say because figured out once, because this was a conversation on one of that the price of models has gone through the roof, but it really hasn't, because if you look at back when I was a kid buying models originally, income for a person was in actual dollars significantly less.
Yeah.
And if you take a percentage of income for like a $1 model, but the average person brings home $100 a week, that's what is it? That's 1%, okay?
Yeah.
And if you look at it, they really haven't gone up that much. Some have. Yeah,
it's kind of gone up commensurate with incomes, is what you're saying, and that makes total sense.
Well, I'll say this much: if anyone had wanted the perfect grade Millennium Falcon down here, I'll tell you what, you'd be paying through the nose. I'll tell you that.
I can believe that.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a number of kits that Americans would buy from maybe Hong Kong, Japan, that would be outrageous too. So I think it just depends on what part of the world
it just depends on where you're situated at.
I think the folks who have it the worst actually is the UK. Quite frankly, I really think they have it the worst. Because if they get anything from outside the country, like if they buy something, then they have that incredibly low tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we pay 6% of the cost, or something around that, 6% of the cost of the kit as import duty, but then they tax that along with the price of the kit at 21%.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't mean that in the way of a prayer. That is.
Oh yeah. Sometimes.
I mean, I sent a package over to. I sent a package over to the UK near the end of last year, and I'm actually surprised at not cheap, but it was under $30 to send from here to the UK. I mean, it's cheap to send. I mean, when I sent Keith the 1701E, that cost me under $30 for sure, because it's going. When he was living in Tassie, it was going over the ocean.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's still cheaper to send things to Australia than it is to the UK. I do, because it has to do. I don't think it has that. I think it has a lot to do with the UK. The folks in the UK pay an awful lot of tax. And Mark Dunmore even said that if you want expensive, try buying a Gundam from a UK seller.
Yeah.
And then of course, G-Man says expensive. You mean a low side of Dragon models? That's my point. Dragon models in the U.S. are very expensive. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I think I don't know if Canada would be in the same realm as the U.S. What do you think, Jim?
It depends. Some things we get from China and Japan, we actually get cheaper than what you do. So it's really kind of weird.
So even though you're over the border,
yeah,
it could cost you twice as much to send something.
No, it can be cheaper on certain things because of trade agreements we have with Asia and that our country has. So there's some things we get cheaper to ship and to purchase. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Way some things are cheaper,
yeah.
some things are more expensive.
That's very true because my LEDs cost me like my big bag of LEDs cost me, I don't know, $14. There's 300 of these LEDs in this bag, and the shipping was free. You sent it like special air package or something, which of course takes forever to reach me from Shenzhen or Hong Kong. Things like that they don't cost a lot, but model kits, yeah, that's different.
That's
for whatever reason, that seems to be different. You know, John Pohl says you pay a lot of taxes also in Canada, Jim. So
yeah, it seems to work out. I don't think it's nothing like what they pay in England and that.
Or New Zealand, for that matter.
Yeah.
Well, Don said it well. He said all the prices are right just for the enjoyment he gets out of a box of plastic.
Yeah.
Only once is a box of plastic. I've got a couple thousand empty sprues I'll be happy to send. It's a Borg cube kit, you know? And,
right. So how you doing, Dave?
Ken was doing the Borg cube, wasn't he?
what?
I think Ken was doing the Borg cube, wasn't he?
I think so.
I think so.
Dave,
you're thinking of?
did the Borg cube? I don't know. How you doing, Dave?
Doing pretty good. How you guys doing?
Yeah, you got your fan on?
Yeah. I'm doing some.
Is it hot in New Mexico right now?
No, I'm just got some painting shit going on right now.
Oh, okay. So you're blowing cold air then.
I'm doing the Aztecs in my Miranda class, painting them on it. I got the got the pearlizer down on it, and I'm doing my own Aztecs to screw everybody.
Did you have a good holiday?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh my. Oh yeah. He said, "Oh yeah." I think you're carrying the highlight of my holiday. What's been going on over there?
I've just been working on my Miranda class that I got for my birthday.
Nice.
My dad, and like I said, I'm doing my own pearl. I've done the pearlescent on it, paint on it. I'm gonna be doing my own Aztecs on it. Like I said, screw everybody, and I don't give a shit who says it's wrong or right. I was just gonna tell them, say it's my model. I built it. There you go.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yep.
Still working on my Destiny over there. It's still sitting over there. I ain't gonna dare start because someone in here will get madder than hell at me for cutting up a Millennium Falcon to make the disc.
Yeah, but you're doing something different though. You do a lot of bash builds and scratch builds and the like, and you just let your imagination run free.
And I'm also
I mean, you do it. Your eye for aesthetic is actually pretty good when it comes to the different universes, sci-fi universes. So don't let nobody tell you different. Is what I'm
I'm
telling
also
you.
doing
What scale is
either a Battlestar Galactica Viper or a Bringing class attack shuttle from attack ship from Star Trek.
Yeah, I do want to get one of those. Yeah, I do want one of those. I've always liked them. Ever since I was a kid, I liked them. I don't know. They just look cool.
Plus, too, they work for sci-fi. Work really well for sci-fi.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. The design's over 50 years old, but it still looks like something Darth Vader would have climbed out of.
Yeah.
It was Amidala's shuttle, Royal Shuttle from Star Wars Episode 1. It's been used in X-Men. It's been used in this and this and that. So I'm going to use it for Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek. No.
Cool. So that's what's on your bench, and you had a good Christmas. Boy, life is good then in the Southwest, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. It's good to hear. It's good to see you. It's agreeable to see you. So anyhow, was that it there, Dave?
Yeah. Well, hang on. I'm going to do it anyway. I don't care what he says.
Well, I care what he says.
Oh, thanks.
Bad boy. Working on this bad boy.
That looks good.
Making a dent out of it.
Yeah, that was good.
Have you seen the
There's the engine.
the Falcon the Falcon that's going to be used in the Han Solo movie?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. I've seen that piece of hi.
What are you talking about?
They closed the freaking gap right here, dude, and they extended this, made this long. It's like, what in the hell is that? And
that's before he modified it. But look what you're doing. You're making a cockpit for somebody with extremely long legs.
Oh, really, Jack? Really, Jack?
Yeah, look how long those legs got to be. Look at that. All right. Well, something though. What I think what the story is going to be a lot about is him acquiring the Falcon. I think that would be a really cool plot line as to how he acquired it. And as we all know, he did his special modifications himself. So.
Yeah, because I remember Lando Calrissian telling him, "What have you done to my ship?"
Exactly.
What did you do to my ship? Your ship.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to do it that way. Maybe a subplot or maybe the whole plot about him acquiring it.
But you know what?
Well, there's an actor. There's an actor who's been signed to play Lando. I don't know who it is, so we know he's in it.
Yeah, he's going to be the one that's going to own the Falcon. If they tell the story right, then it should go back to before Han Solo had the Falcon.
That's what I understand they're going to be doing,
But of course, also too, the Millennium Falcon's been through a lot of freaking name changes, design changes. It was even destroyed. It was even destroyed once, I think twice.
I think the problem comes from what do you call canon and what don't you?
Mm-hmm.
If it appeared on screen, it's canon. Unfortunately, that includes the prequels and even those damn Ewok movies. But books and the comics and all that stuff very clearly cannot all be canon because very different things have happened in makes no sense if you try to make it all fit. So you go by what's canon and what isn't. It's like people who complain about on Star Trek, where people who were complaining about T'Pol being, was it T'Pol on Enterprise, saying that Spock was the first Vulcan to serve on a Starfleet ship. Well, there's absolutely nothing in the series that says that.
No,
that was all fan based.
That Star Trek Enterprise series by far predates Star Trek original series.
Yeah.
So
and even
All right.
Discovery.
Spock was the first Vulcan officer to serve in Starfleet, but he actually joined Starfleet, whereas T'Pol was still part of the Vulcan.
What she was.
She was only seconded to the Enterprise.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, technically that's correct.
Yeah.
That would be correct.
Oh boy.
I'm
I didn't make any sense about that whatsoever because I thought she was hot, but there you go.
Oh yeah, I like.
I put a comment in the live chat saying, "Wow, they're talking about this like it's real life."
Jack.
That's real life, guys. Get over it.
And G-Man says he wish he could.
The other night. Not good. And he said, tell everybody hello.
G-Man said that he wish he could be carefree about accuracy. I'm assuming basically building things as they are. Yeah, he's mostly confused.
You see, me in this thing, I took the Y-Wing toy. I didn't have all the parts for it, so I just made my own ship out of it and made it into a freighter. You know, and it looks pretty cool as a freighter, actually.
No, Mark, it's not real life, but these guys think it is. Okay. I was thinking the same thing last week with the Star Wars chat. Yeah, I know. I mean, we've been talking a lot about Star Wars on this on these Hangouts. It's like, you know what? We did a show just for that. And you know something? If you guys didn't show up for the Star Wars chat,
I didn't see the movie.
We needed you the most.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
I stayed out of that jet because I knew that as sure as I showed up, there'd be a fight because I'd be like,
and we're big boys and girls, or boys.
Star Wars Episode 8 totally sucked toward the end of it.
That's your opinion, anyway.
Yeah, freaking Grand Master Admiral, what the hell his name is, Snoke. They killed him off, so what the fuck are they gonna do now?
Well, it's
there's plenty there. There's plenty there. Come on, there's plenty there.
Yeah, I can't believe everybody.
At least Palpatine lived through all three movies. And then
it's part of a fine Star Wars tradition to have an interesting character and then kill him off early.
Yeah.
I thought he wasn't interesting. I thought he was dull. Anyway, what did you say, Jay?
I was saying that I find it interesting that everybody's jumping all over J.J. Abrams about how he's destroyed the franchise and everything with this latest movie, which I still have not yet seen.
Yeah.
What about what about Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3? But
Jay, just hush.
You know what, Jay? I have an agreement with you on that. On one level, it's let some time pass. Let all the haters find some level of appreciation for it after the fact that all the other movies have come out, because they're going to be the first ones in line to figure out how they're going to make this mess up. And David, I'm sorry you had to pass out, but no, he'll be back. No, I just think there's a lot there. I just think the way they're telling a story is a lot different than it was 40 years ago. And what's going on today is a very different time and place that these movies are coming out in. And it's not the same. You know what? If you wanted the same, boy, you got some interesting lives there. So I got to say, I wish.
The problem is, I want it just the same, but I want to be surprised, but I don't want anything different.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well.
Just like that thing that Armando posted that you were talking about. Yeah.
I love that list. Yeah.
Right. Well, long and short of it, there are some positive reviews. There's a lot of negative reviews, and we don't have to go through those, but there are positive ones. I encourage y'all to see everything, even though you disagree with it, with pure thought and mind, be the Jedi, reach out with your feelings and all that. Well, don't reach out with your feelings because that's what you're doing anyway. Anyhow, I want to get through this. I want to get back to modeling.
Go for it.
I want to get back to modeling. The General Hux was funny. Yeah, I agree, G-Man. Okay, so what I'm doing, I was over at the house today. Yeah, the house is coming along just great. And while I was there, I had use of my miter saw, and I had bought some primed 1-inch by 3/4 inch, I guess, wood. That's already primed. That's why it's white. And they're all cut on an angle because I'm going to make a frame. Probably going to use both liquid nails and probably corrugated nails. And if you're into hardware, you know what corrugated nails are. Basically how picture frames are put together. And cover it with a piece of acrylic or plexiglass, and it'll be my base for the Falcon. So what you're seeing is the bits and pieces for, and I've been wanting to do this for a while now too. So I want to get a base together.
Sorry, Jack, just a bit of a question. How are you going to do the rebate in that bit of 1 inch by whoever, 1.5 inch or something like that? How are you going to do the rebate to get the glass to fit in, or you're putting the glass on top?
On top. Here's my Katinga, and the box. It's just a box, like a rectangular box, and here it is, the same stuff. This is the same thing but smaller than I'm going to make for the. So this is what I'm making.
Okay.
And
that was a good build of yours, Jack.
I'm going to try to do a little more, something more creative than something just solidly boring like this. I want to put LEDs in the base and have the base light up in some way that's not over the top or anything. I might even, because it's plexiglass on top, I may how do you call it, stencil, and then I'll have like a spot where letters can shine through, and like say Star Wars and Millennium Falcon. I want to ask Lou, but he wasn't exactly in any condition to ask if he can do me some masks that way. But I don't know how I'm going to do the mask because I have no means of doing it. But I'd like to do something like that.
One of the boxes that I have is, just click on me, has got like same type of box as yours, except it's got obviously got a rebated edge. So when you put your base in it, and that actually sits inside the rebated edge. Away you go. I just want to
that's one of the things I thought, but I would need like a router for that or something to do that. But one of these days I will get that advanced. But I'm going to make a box very similar to this as a stand.
Jack, I've always liked the Katanga build of yours. That was a great build, that one.
Oh, this one is one of my favorites. Yes, it's one of my favorites. So that's the kind of bases that's going to be my trademark base, doing it this way. I actually really like that. It's simple, basic. It can hold the model very sturdy-like, and if I have circuit boards or switches, or in fact, the Katinga here has a port to plug it in and light it with a wall wart. So that's what I'm doing here. And I just want to do something a little fancier than just that. Not too complicated, but something a little fancy. So that's where I'm at.
I've got to go, so I'll talk to you all later.
Okay, we'll see you.
We'll see you later.
See you guys.
Bye. I thought he'd never leave. Heath, we love you. We love you. That's where I'm at, and I hope this week I'll be able to assemble it, at least glue it together, and then reinforce it with the corrugated nails. So today, what I'd like to bring up and talk about, since last time we met last year.
Yeah, did you want to talk? Did you want to ask what Keith's up to?
Oh, Keith, yeah, what are you up to, Keith?
Well, did any of you guys catch the sale at Cool Mini or Not? That there's a place out there called Cool Mini or Not, and they got some of the best painters in the world that showcase what they paint, but they also have a shop section, and they sell an awful lot of miniatures and figures and stuff like that, blah blah. And the other week I got onto their site just surreptitiously, just browsing around. I thought I'd go to Cool Mini or Not, and they had some sort of sale happening there, and it wasn't your average sale like 10-20% off or blah blah. Some of these had hundreds of percent off their miniatures. Whoa. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. So I picked up a few miniatures, 75mm mainly, because they are really nice scale to paint. I've got want to just show you him. I've got, ever put his head on. I got a miniature of
Judge Dredd. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's not really
without arms.
Yeah, he's without arms. Yeah, it's just
He's
a head. Yeah, so he's but the company that did this is called Dark World Creations, and that's that's like the old comic book version of Judge Dredd. On their site, they had Judge Dredd on the Lawmaster, his big motorbike, and they had that going for like $35, $36. It's $150 miniature. My jaw just about dropped down. Oh my God! So I picked up that. That's on the way. I picked up a couple of other miniatures and figures and stuff like that. One of them was Sabretooth and Wolverine having a fight by Night Models. Really well cast. Their stuff is just absolutely beautiful, just really nicely done. So yeah, they had amazing sales. I couldn't believe it, what you're picking up some of the miniatures for. So yeah, it's hopefully some people managed to get in on the back of that. I'm also in the process of doing this guy.
Ah, yes.
Kardashian follower class.
Yeah. So I've drilled out all the windows, and I've put dental acrylic in there, and then made sure it was all sort of nice and flush and what else this side. My next job is to light it, and after that I'll just come around with little bits and pieces of masking tape and mask off all the windows, and then lightly spray over the top of it with your top colour and whatnot else. And I find that for models that don't have, this is just me, this whatever, I find the best way to do them is to fill them up with dental acrylic, then come back and mask the windows off and then spray over the top of that, because you get the perfect window every time. It's not going skew whiff and bigger and smaller and all sorts of things like that. You get perfect windows when you do it that way. So it's like, yeah. So
essentially, you're drilling out larger windows than you need, and then just masking off the part that would stay clear.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, just make a larger window, fill it in with dental acrylic. I usually, when I mask this side off, like when I'm actually filling it in, when I was filling it in with dental acrylic, to make sure you don't get any divots, all depending on the size of your windows, make sure that you don't get any curves or anything like that from putting on the masking tape. I just get like double basic masking tape, stick it together, so you got a really big thick bit of masking tape, and then put it on and then burnish it down with a flat surface so you don't get any divots and stuff like that. So when you fill it in with the dental acrylic on this side, it becomes flush on the outside. You don't have any divots or anything like that. So it doesn't matter how big you make the window, so to speak, there. Because when you come back and then you mask each individual window off with the right size bit of masking tape and spray it, you're not going to have any edges or anything like that. And it's, yeah, perfect, hopefully. Touch wood.
That's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good idea. It's almost the equivalent of having the thing molded and clear and then just masking off the windows. Yeah.
Yeah. It works out. I've done it a couple of times. It works out really well, as opposed to when I did the Voyager. I was trying to drill out each one of those windows, clear them off, and make them absolutely perfect. And it took forever. And still, if you got close, the windows were, skewed with and different sizes and stuff like that. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but still, when you can do it this way and get a perfect window every time for very little effort, I choose this way every time. Now. Am I going mad? Everyone's disappearing.
No, you're still there. Yeah.
So yeah,
disappearing on us. How dare they?
Yeah, and I'm also painting an alien model up over there, and painting the Thing flying saucer over there. So, but they're all sort of in the process of doing that.
The Thing flying saucer. I take it's the John Carpenter one.
Yeah, it's the one from Fantastic Plastic.
Yeah,
got a really nice model, and yeah, I stuck 80 LEDs for the spinning effect around the outside of it. That was a pill. It worked. So yeah, but it just took an awfully long time to do. And that's about what I'm up to. So yeah.
Oh, after all those months, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've been so busy. I've just been building parts of houses and you name it. I've been doing it. Family members here over Christmas and New Year's, and yeah, it's been fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's been fun. But it's good seeing you. I saw you yesterday, I think it was, on a private chat. I was just very concerned for a while there because all these things were starting to pop up about Tasmania. And I was just thought, you know what? It's a kind of weird how you start noticing something that's been in your thinking about the people you know. That makes any sense.
What things again were popping up about Tasmania?
Well, recently it was seeing something on television about the Tasmanian tiger, which is not even feline. It's a marsupial that's extinct, and Bushmen were taking video out in the they had these cameras set up that going on for 24/7.
Given the fact that Tasmania, if you've ever been to Tasmania, there is so much virgin countryside, and when I mean by virgin, it's literally like this. The hills are like this. Nobody can get in there. There is no way known. I mean, when I went I used to go bushwalking a lot, and you could get 50 meters off the side of a dirt track and be lost. Literally, it was like, wow. The undergrowth is incredible, and the trees, it's just massive. So we could a Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine as they're called. Could could several families of them still exist? Yeah, it's possible. Well,
in other words, it just came to mind that that's how you came to mind, anyhow.
Yeah, cool.
Jim and I, if that would be all, Keith, you said that was about it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. All right, very good. Jim and I were talking about electronics, and we're like, okay. I think he doesn't have anything completed on, how should I say, on his programming on his Arduino, but I think we'll probably get into that later. So
yeah.
he's like, well, let's talk about soldering irons. And I'm like, you know what? Sure. Yeah, let's talk about soldering irons. So how do you want to start this, Jim?
Yeah, I mean, mostly is in the first thing is in selecting of irons, what type of iron to get. You want really at least a 35 watt, maybe a 60 watt in a single iron, preferably one that's grounded, so it'll be a 3-prong cord. One thing to stay away from, and I've seen some people drift to them, and it's a bad idea, is the electric soldering guns, like the big Weller things, because those are good for doing the wiring in your car, but don't get them near electronics, because the way they work, they put an AC signal through that tip to heat it up, and that energy will blow up ICs and some transistors. So. And plus, the heat's not all that well regulated either, so it can produce too much heat or too little heat. So you're better off just to stay away from those totally. They're just not healthy to use for what we're doing. So you need to go to a soldering pencil of some type. You can go to a soldering station with a DC type iron, especially preferably one that's not, the strictly an induction type heat, which most are. Yeah, so you can go to a station.
Yeah, so I'm showing here Google image. Okay, present to everyone and click present to everyone.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, this is the this is a gun.
Yeah.
No good. No good.
Those are real good for causing damage on your model kit if you want, like Christina does, with all kinds of.
Oh yeah, if you want to cut plastic and mutilate plastic, they're great for that. Yeah.
Yeah, but not the circuit board.
Okay, so this coming up is a solder station. That's a dual power. Sometimes they come in different wattages. This is a station. So this is actually, what I like about this is that you got somewhere to stick your solder iron while you're getting your things together to use it. I'm sure this sponge wears out really quick. I'll show you what I do. I don't do this arrangement. A Radio Shack. How do you like that? They're still selling stuff.
Yeah, their stores are all closed, but they do still have.
They have product out there.
Online.
And this is very typical right here for a regular iron. This is what I use. And I don't do a station. A station, you can replace the tips and stuff. Is that right, Jim?
Yeah. Well, I'll get into that in a minute here once you get done this part here.
Yeah, sure. So here's a 30 watt. This is a pretty cheapy. This is a pretty cheapy little thing. But what you really want is something that has a pretty fine tip.
Yeah, and if it's got a replaceable tip, easily replaceable, ideal.
Yeah, I have here, I like the Weller products, but I don't do the stations. And here I have, look how dark it is. Let me get some light on this. This is a Weller 40 watt.
Yeah.
And once plugged in, it's got some LED lights so that you can see your work. This only is a 2-pronger. And it's not even polarized. It's only a heating element in there. And this particular one, you can replace the tips. It just screws right off.
Just screw on
and replace it. Yeah. So I bought this to try it out. I'm not particularly fond of it, for the reason being that once it goes bad, I really can't reuse much in this. Maybe the LEDs, but I can't use much. The reason I say that is because I have a 60 watt Weller. This comes with a wall wart that unplugs. And the tip does come off pretty easy. It's like an RCA tip almost. I found out tip replacements cost as much as the whole thing. And why I like this is because once this goes, and this is on its last few uses, I can use the male and female plug here and use it for my models, and use the wall wart for the models and light the models. So I can continue using this. And I don't mind buying these. These are at Home Depot, and I think this one's about $27, $28. The other one is probably about $2 shy of that. But the other one comes with a variety of tips. This one only comes with one tip. And well, I got myself set up here. I just want to show you some things on soldering. But
can I show this right now? Okay.
What's in there?
Can I show what I'm using here? Yeah, I'm using the Weller WTCP station. I mean, I've had this one for 25 years. And last thing in that. So the advantages of this is the ability to change tips. So if you see, I'm using that's my standard tip. The needle tip is what I use 99% of the time. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the other tip that I use a lot is this chisel tip. And that's great for when you've got real thick wire and ground foil that you have to solder to.
Yeah.
Because you can't produce enough surface area heat with the needle tip. Then you go to the wider tip. And it's easy enough, even while it's on, you can change the tips. So you don't have to wait for it to cool down to do it. There's a way you can do it and change the tip without having to turn the iron off. So you get a quick transfer. And because of the way they said that tip would be up to temperature in a matter of 10, 15 seconds. So it's magnetic type tip. So that's the advantage of that.
Oh.
And I just find using the pencil iron and with the station a lot more convenient than using the your plug-in iron, standard plug-in iron.
And another thing I like about the soldering station, I've got an Atten soldering station, and that one, not only can you change the tips out nice and easy as well, but you can also adjust the temperature. So if you've got some good lead wire, thin lead wire, you can turn the temperature down a little bit, which if you're around like chips and whatnot else, ICs, it's a good idea not to sort of overheat the ICs because they'll burn out pretty easy.
Yeah, this with temperature settings on this one works a little different. It works by the magnet in the tip. Different strengths magnets for the different tips. So you get a different temperature with the needle tip than you get with the broad tip, because the magnet actually selects the temperature. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice and simple and easy.
Yeah. So it's a little convenient that way.
And I like the Weller.
Yeah.
It's always good soldering
irons. And they're easy to get parts for.
Yeah, yeah.
If you have to buy a new pencil iron, you can buy the new pencil iron and then just unplug this one and plug the new one in, because the cords do go after a while.
Yeah.
But so that's the main thing. I mean, there are butane irons too, but they're expensive, and depending on the design of the iron, some of them can be dangerous to you, especially in and around a model where you have plastic and that, because you got heat spraying off of the tip because we're burning gas in there to heat the tip.
Yeah.
So they're not necessarily safe around your model to use.
Okay. I'm going to show how I do this, and this is for my Millennium Falcon build. This is where I should have been a while ago. Let's see. See if I can get everything looking right. Back out again a little bit. I don't know. Is that clear enough for y'all?
Yep. Got to go, guys. Sorry.
Okay, Keith. We'll see you later.
All right.
All right.
See you later, Keith.
Take care.
See you, Keith.
I always solder on a ceramic tile. You can pick one up at Home Depot for like 60 cents. Buy something that's on sale. It doesn't have to be fancy, but what you do want to get something that's relatively smooth. This has a little bit of, tiny little bit of texture. And it has a glaze on it. You'd want something that has a glaze on. At least that's how I feel about it. And I do all my soldering on this. And the way I do it, and I don't use the helping hands, which is like this octopus looking thing with a magnifying glass and a bunch of like clips that have these bendable arms. I don't know. I got too much stuff as it is. I really, I can't, as much as I do, I can probably make good use of it, but I just don't want to do it that way. I'm pretty stuck on my ways. So I'm going to see if I can show this on camera. This is an LED that has a resistor attached to it. Come on, light. There we go. Let's see. This is a 1.8 millimeter LED that is going to fit in my holes on my parts here. Like so, like the very tip just pops right in. Like that. So that's the whole idea. And the way I go about doing this, I will take my LED, and the long leg is the, which charge is that? I just know where the power is going into. Negative? Positive?
The short one should be the cathode, I think.
Well, yeah. you're using the terms. I'm talking about the power.
long one should be positive.
Long one's positive. The short one is negative.
Positive. Okay, that's what I'm looking for, positive. So what I do is I slip it under a piece of masking tape like so to secure it, hold it down. And then I'll take my LED and get my fancy schmancy little needle nose pliers, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, because I certainly can't. I'll just bend it like really neatly into a roughly a 90-degree angle. I think that's coming up a little bit on. My hand doesn't work. That works. And I'll just slip it right next to that long leg, because I always put, there's no right, you don't have to put it on one leg over the other. You can put it on either of the legs, but I put it on the positive end because if I always do it that way, then I know how to wire it, because as we all know, LEDs only can be wired one way.
Yeah, they only pass current one direction. Yeah.
Yeah, current goes one direction. They're polarized. And I have a Radio Shack resin core solder. And what's important here, we were even discussing it before the show, you want something that's pretty thin. You don't want that thick, chunky stuff, because that would be just miserable to use. And aside from that, that's probably for plumbing. If you're getting at Home Depot, it's probably for plumbing. Even the solder that the irons come with have a tendency to be pretty thick. And I'm not particularly fond of this. I'll use this up whenever I run out or can't find my solder, but I'm getting close to running out on this stuff. But this is pretty thin stuff. It's like a 0.3 inch diameter.
Yeah. I use 0.2 myself.
0.2? Yeah, that's even thinner yet. No, that's actually thicker. 0.2.
No, that's
0.32. Oh, we have 0.2. Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just have a nice little light on this. I'm hoping that it picks up on camera. And all I do is just quickly dab it at the base there. And now the two are connected, but I'm going to take a little bit of solder and drag it down the length of it as quickly as possible, because the heat transfer will mess with the resistor and the LED.
Yep.
So now, once I got that done, this is my answer to a sponge. Ooh, this is pretty. This is an old T-shirt in a plastic container filled with some water, and that's how I clean off my tip and done. And
Yeah,
you want
I
to
might
keep
have.
your tip.
Yeah, I have a little bit of different technique on keeping the tip clean. I do use the sponge, but the secret is do not have whatever you're using, sponge or cloths, soaking wet. That will oxidize and ruin your tip on your soldering iron over time. Have your sponge just damp. So if you're wetting a sponge, squeeze it out so it's just damp,
Yes.
not soaking. Because if it's
Hearing
soaking,
sizzles,
you'll ruin your tip.
Yes, you will.
yeah, if you're hearing sizzles and water boiling and steam is puffing up out of it, that's too wet. You just want to hear a slight sizzle, but no steam,
You know,
to clean off your tip.
not to interrupt, but I'm thinking about cutting this fuselage shorter from the cockpit to the main hull, so if I could maybe make it that long.
Yeah.
You think so, or you think, nah, I should leave it like that?
I think whatever you want, it's your build.
Well, I just want to get cussed out and bitch, and griped at and complained about. And, heck, you know what? I don't care.
Sorry. Okay, now I'm all in the dark here. Look at that. That's me. Usual. Dark.
I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to go praying class TIE fighter with it.
So what I have now left over to do on this, click on to me, is I will bend the. So you see, I didn't solder it right to the resistor.
Yeah.
And I'll bend it, and I'll take a clipper and clip the LED leg off. As it flies across the room. And here are my legs. My positive is still longer than my negative. So,
my son was asking about that. How I know which one's positive and which one's negative. And I said, it's the length of the legs. You have to length of the legs. She's got like that, That's how you know.
Yeah, negative meaning smaller. Yeah, exactly. Positive meaning longer. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, because he always sees me wearing red. I'm always using red and black wiring, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always putting the red and black wiring where they need to be on the LED. And he goes, "How the heck do you do that? How the heck do you know which one's which?"
Well, the other way you can also tell on most of the LEDs, there's a marked side for where the cathode is. Especially if you look at the round ones.
The round ones.
There's a flat spot. And the flat spot is the cathode, which is the negative side.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the same thing, similar on all the others, too. There's a marking system on it to tell you where the cathode is. So you get to know where that marker is.
The other thing I've started playing with, current limiters. Those current limiters that they've got for LED projects, it takes the mathematics out of having to do the resistors. You just hook them up to the LEDs, you hook them up to a power supply. Doesn't matter what power supply you have, 12 volt, 6 volt, 3 volt, and it will keep the LED from burning out. It's more of a unit thing. And I started playing with that, and I'm not
There's
impressed.
a better way of doing it than that. Once you know your supply, you can use something like this, which is a resistor substitution box. In which case you need to dial up the basic resistor that you want in the circuit, and then you can just add resistance till you get the intensity that you want. And then you just add it up, and that'll give you the value that you require for whatever a given supply.
Yep. Because my son's starting to try to get into this lighting and stuff, and I'm going to try to teach him the correct way, the old-fashioned way. I've done it with resistors and shit. And I said, you got to take your mathematics right on your resistors, because you can make the LED dim down, or make it get brighter, you know. And he's trying to he wants to get into lighting. That's all I'm going to say. And now I'm having to teach him the old school way, the way I was taught by my grandpa. My grandpa was an electrician, so worked on radios and
when it actually comes to lighting, it's probably the cheapest part of scale modeling is lighting. The LEDs are dirt cheap. The resistors are cheaper yet. It takes a little bit.
Even if you buy them pre-wired off of Amazon, I can get them off of Amazon for like $10 for 50 pre-wired LEDs. You know, so
yeah, you can get pre-wired. They're typically more. But once I get these LEDs into their places, all I got to do is just tie everything together. Actually, I saved the legs that I cut off from the LED because they're already pre-tinted. And they make awful good connections too. And they also offer some structural
rigidity.
Strength. Yeah. So as opposed to wire, wire could be pretty flexible. But yeah, I mean, there are other ways to attach a LED, and this is probably I started doing it this way, but with these tiny LEDs, you end up breaking the LED because you put the leg under a lot of tension by wrapping the resistor around the leg.
Yeah. That's how I used to do it. And I would fold the LED leg over so that the wrap will come out, and then when I'd fold it over, I'd crimp it and then solder it on there, and then that way, you know, I used to do that too.
Yeah, well, I will do this on the larger LEDs, like the 3 or 5 millimeters.
Yeah, I say like I just do the parallel resistor. I mean, just do the series straight parallel wire to the lead routine, and then I put heat shrink on them, prevent short.
Yeah. I always use.
I mean,
mine too.
There's a lot of fancy ways you can do it. But even if I wrap it around the leg, I'll still solder it to just the same. But the key to soldering is you don't want to hold the iron down on the parts you're soldering. They do heat up very quickly. You don't. In only maybe less than a second, they'll heat up enough to take the solder. If you hold it down any longer, the heat transfer will burn things out. So.
Especially on LED strips.
Well, you should be putting the iron onto the target, and then apply the solder to the target. That's the proper way.
Yeah.
If you're just going to apply, don't melt solder and paste it onto the joint, because you'll end up with a bad joint, and you're guaranteed to have an LED fail.
Yep.
Well, yeah, there's too much heat being transferred.
No, there's no. You won't have adhesion of the solder. It's just glued on. It's not soldered.
Yeah, it's cold solder joint.
Yeah,
it'll come loose. It'll just break off. Oh, and then you'll be screwed.
Yeah.
Then go back in there and trace it down and figure out how to fix it, and then
practice work. I'd say just practice working to the point. It's not that difficult. It's actually quite easy. That's the easiest part.
You know what's the most fun?
What's that?
Wiring up SMDs. Soldering.
No, it isn't fun. No, that's not fun.
Fun at all.
SMDs are LEDs that don't have any legs on them. They only have tabs on them, and they lay flat. They're like little pellets.
Sizes to big sizes.
Yeah, little round.
Most fun.
Yeah, they're not fun. Pre-wired are fun.
Those are the ones you want to get pre-wired.
Yeah, those are the ones you want pre-wired. Exactly. Let's see. I have a sample here, I think, of an SMD. And these suckers are tiny.
So it offers stress relief on the where it joins up to the SMD and the wire. So if it flexes, it doesn't break it off right away.
Yeah.
This is a very small SMD.
Yep.
And this is pre-wired. So, do you really want to wire the? You want to really solder those now?
And then they got them smaller than that. They got them smaller than that, Jack.
They even come smaller than that. I know. No, you don't want to do that.
If I need something, I just want to acquire an SMD like a Spotlight, I always buy them pretty large.
Yeah.
I don't, because I've already destroyed enough of them to sit there and say, screw it, you know?
Sorry,
and
yes.
And they're not that hard to destroy either. I mean, it's really simple and easy to destroy them. You'll be surprised.
Yeah. Well, the SMDs that come in handy when you don't have the space. I have already used them in a build. I had a Vorcha class Klingon ship that there's spots that are like really tight. But 2 or 3 of those SMDs lit up the area really nicely, and it take up no room at all, hardly at all. Even the even when I showed the 1.8 millimeter, sometimes in some instances, is too big. But I haven't seen any fiber optic being lit by an SMD. Actually, I don't think SMDs are really suited for fiber optic.
I don't think so either, because you'd have to have them flat and flush. You would have to figure out a way to put the SMD up against them to have any light transfer worth it.
Yeah.
You're better off using just a regular LED.
Well, in some instances, fiber optics carries the light into a place where you are restricted with space and you can't put an LED in. But if the push comes to shove, you can probably use an SMD, no problem. But in many instances, it's, Well,
for all those people who live with Star Destroyers with SMD or with LED fiber optics, you can do that with SMD light strips. You can do those light strips behind those window holes.
Oh, yeah.
And then they light up quite nicely. I've seen people do it.
I've seen people do a combination where they have short lengths of fiber optic that use the ambient light from the strip to light that up.
You can use
that's the way I light my Excelsior class starships up. I just take little chunks of fiber optics no bigger than that.
Yeah. And
just stick them in the holes. It works quite nice, and that works too. That works really good.
The last really the soldering for this is very different again. This is double. This is probably white. This is LED tape. It has an adhesive back. Yeah, this has an adhesive back. You can stick it to things. In fact, this is what I'm going to probably use, but probably in blue for the Millennium Falcon base. But I know this is white because double density means that you've got twice as many LEDs per foot, I think. The single density is the same as you see here, except for the middle one, or spaced further apart. There's fewer per foot.
Yeah, it makes them more brighter.
These are already pre-resisted. They're kind of pre-wired in a sense. You just got to put the leads to it, to your supply. And you would use sections like of 3 LEDs are always together.
Yep.
And also they run okay on 9 volts, but they're made for 12 and 15.
Yeah.
So 12 and 15 volts, they take a pretty good. In fact, there was one night about, about a year and a half. I have my power thing here. I thought I'd hook one up, and mine goes up to 30 volts and see if it would fry it.
Shit.
Oh, it started to fry it, but it's still held in there.
And may I add something? Do not use quick connectors for those light strips.
No, I agree. The quick connectors for this sort of thing, no, you're not that great, really. Yeah, but you can get all this stuff on eBay pretty cheap. Like those all come from all from China or Hong Kong or something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, and I will say this: they do get hot, depending on which ones you got. If you get the 50/50s, the 50/50s they get hot on 12 volts and up. They'll really efficiently melt your model.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that too. But I don't know too many modelers that power it up to 12 and 15 volts. I haven't come across too many modelers that do that. I use 9 volts as a standard.
Yeah.
As my standard, I use 9 volts.
9 volts is a nice voltage because you don't want your LEDs being too bright.
Mm.
Yeah.
If it's windows you're doing, you don't want to look as if you're blinding your crew.
Yeah.
Like there's a sunlight sitting, like there's sun sitting over your head.
Yeah.
Like this. Hold on. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see wearing sunglasses or some.
Oh, I'll tell you what. LED light is very pure. It can really burn your retina. One LED can do a pretty nasty job. Especially
really
powered up.
What's really cool to use is the ultraviolet purple ones. Those ones are nice.
Yeah, there you go. You put it next to your house plants, and they'll love it. They'll love your models.
That can give you sunburn.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not that intense. but certainly,
it does put off a good hue, and it puts off a good lighting on certain things. If you're doing accent lighting. You know, like with Jack with that Millennium Falcon, he's going to put lights in his base, shine up on the Falcon or shine up around it.
Actually, you gave me an idea. I do have some ultraviolet lights. Maybe I'll shine. I'll light the underside of it with ultraviolet.
Yeah, I think you only need one, depending on the size of the model. You are telling one in a second, right?
Yeah, well, we'll see. Well, we'll see. That's actually an interesting idea. I think I just might run with it. But that's really what we have today for the Sunday Hangout, as far as talking about something that's in conjunction with your model building. And Dave dropped by, and I want to say hello to him.
Hello.
And I've been seeing a lot of cattails in your picture frame there.
Yeah. Kitty's being lovey right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were talking about soldering irons, not to jump in the past here, but I use what I use here is when I used to do stained glass. This has got a adjustable power supply on it, so you can go from from about 15 watt to about 350 watt on this one.
Oh, so, shoot, that's hot.
Well, I need that brass locomotive I'm working on, and I haven't cleaned my tip, but it's
that's almost a Cooper iron, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and but you can get different tips for it, and you can dial the heat down on it. So
I have one of those. It's like that. It's got only it's its own box, and it's got the mat that goes underneath it, the pad that goes underneath it for the clean it off with. And when it sits in a dial on the side of it, you turn dial up, turn dial down. It's sitting right next to it, so you make it hotter or colder. And what I've done is I took my soldering iron. It's this gel or chemical stuff, cream stuff. It's in this little tub, and I glued it to the top of it so I can just go, and then wash it off. Shines it up.
Okay. Well, mine needs lots of shining. So yeah.
You're soldering that metal locomotive, and that's what you use as glue for your metal bottles.
Yeah, that, and I have my little mini propane torch too that I use, because some of the cast, even with that big thing, the cast pieces just draw off the heat. They act like big heat sinks.
Yeah.
Yes.
I really have to throw the heat to it to get it hot enough for the solder to flow. So.
Yeah. I bet you've burnt your fingertips a time or two.
A few times, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I'll show you something real quick before we sign off. Let me grab it real quick here.
Oh, sure.
Okay, so this, you guys ever watch BattleBots?
Oh, yes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Well, this is these are ones you put together. This is Tombstone,
Oh, nice.
And it's not electrically powered. You know, it's not RC. So you push it, and then the blade will spin on it here. But it's this one's season 2. They get when you get it, they give you the option building season 1 or season 2. And so there's about 600 parts, and you put all these things together. And the gearbox is the first thing you start with, and you build it all around that. And that's like the transmission of a car in there. It's got 2 plastic chains, but it's no glue involved on this. It all snaps together. But it's just, you know, it's a good mental exercise to follow directions, because the directions, you kind of do it by picture, because it's kind of vague. So anyway, so that's what I did over the holiday. Took me about 2 days to put it together. So yeah. So
oh, nice. Nice. That's pretty cool.
Kind of cool, you know. So anyway, that's what I did.
All right. So you had a good holiday there, Dave?
I did. We didn't go anywhere. Had family up, and pretty much the same with New Year's. We didn't go anywhere. We just kind of slept through New Year's. So,
nice.
But it was good. It was all nice. Glad it's over, because now things can get back to normal. So.
You know, I think I have the cure to the after holidays blahs now that I'm thinking about it, because I'm not thinking, well, I never really suffer from the blahs. I only suffer from the fact that it's winter and it's always dark. But don't have such a big party. Don't just go overboard. For your friends, for your family, for your drinks, a little bit of food, just, you know, stay home, don't travel. I mean, if you're travel somewhere warm and away from family. But I'm just saying that a lot of people who do all these things, and they cram all this stuff into their holidays, and then when the holidays are over, they're like they're hungover almost. Did you find that you feel like if you spend a holiday like that, like you did, just put together something and just relax and just call it a day whenever the holidays are over?
Yeah. We had a small party, but it was only like about 8 people, you know, so it was, you know, real mild. We'd play games, drank a little bit, and had a lot of laughs. You know, nobody got drunk or anything. You know, everybody just had a good time. And so, yeah, it was good.
Oh, very good to hear. Very good to hear. Got any more to add, James?
No, I think we're pretty good. We'll have to figure out what we're going to talk about next time, but we'll
figure that out. I think that we just did this on the fly, actually, just as always.
On the last minute, yeah, we pick a topic. Yeah.
Topic like not even 5 minutes before airtime, so I think we did rather well. Randall?
Before you go, Jack, I kind of stole a march on the wood modeling project.
Yeah.
Okay.
His monolith, yeah.
He's making fun of me, kids. Look at that. He's making the 2001 monolith. 1 by 10 20. Yes.
I like that. That's good.
That's my wooden project for 2018 done. Yeah.
Yeah. You post that. Post that and see. Well, I don't know what response you'll get, but yeah, that's one of our wood builds. That will be one of our projects for this 2018 on the Amazing Scale Modelers. A community builds, a wood build, a real space build, no sci-fi, just real space. Something that has been launched, that flew or has blown up on the launch pad, anything like that. And that will be, of course, for Jim, that'd be Nirvana, because he's into the SpaceX with Elon Musk and his goings on. And also the last one would be naval, nautical, boats, anything that related floating on water, like even amphibious. If you're an armor, like you do tanks and jeeps and these military vehicles, hey,
landing craft in that, yeah.
Yeah, amphibious vehicles. I'd like to see somebody do an amphibious vehicle. That would be actually pretty cool. So those are our builds. Of course, I will remind everybody as the year goes on. And in 2 weeks, it will be Across the Pond Hangouts. That would be on Saturday in 2 weeks. That will be January 27th. No, 20th. I'm sorry, 20th. January 20th, and on the 21st, 2 weeks from tonight, will be, of course, the Sunday Hangout too. We'll figure something out by then to present to y'all, maybe even just a minute before airtime. So yeah, I mean, just join our community if you're just watching us for the first time on Facebook, the Amazing Skill Modelers on Facebook, as well as Google+. And even subscribe, of course, to this channel. Comments and criticisms are always welcome too. And I'd like to thank the groupies over there at the live chat, James Kirk, G-Man, George, and Mark Dunmore. And Dave, you even were on there for a moment, as well as Don, our own Rocket Man, Don Gilchrist. Even Mr. Bob Busking stopped by during a break while he's at work. James Kirk, James, Ken Skippington, and Ken Models, and even Aries, John Paul, Aries Styrene, and John Paul Styrene. There was a lot of fellas over there over at the live chat. There was some chat going on there, and making comments such as Keith has the paints. He has all the paints. He probably does. I'd like to thank Keith for stopping by, as well as Heath from both of them from down under, as well as Jay from just an hour's drive from here up in Michigan, where they get a lot of snow. And of course, Dave, thank you for stopping by. And Dave, thanks. It's good to see you. It's always very agreeable seeing you come join us on Sundays. And Jim, thank you as always. Keeping you on the straight and narrow and backing me up on half of this stuff. And also, Randall, yeah, you know, we complain about your jokes, but keep them coming, because we need to feel pain so that we know we're alive. You know.
Well, I always wanted to be. People laughed when I told them I wanted to be a comedian, but well, they're not laughing now.
And all of you watching the show and rerun and live, thank you, thank you, thank you. And in 2 weeks, see you again. Happy modeling, everyone. Good night.
Good night.